Hello, everybody, and welcome to a rather rare Thursday morning stream. I am going to be streaming pretty much all day today to make up for all of the missed streams earlier in the week. I've had a deadline with the contract work that I do for half of my time and had to shift various days around and put the hours in there, so I had to unfortunately skip Monday and Wednesday stream. But thankfully, I've got all today off now and all of Friday off, so we're going to be streaming today, tomorrow, hopefully a bit over the weekend as well. So, welcome everyone to the stream. If you are new here, I am Martin Pilkington. I run a small software company in the northwest of England called M-Cube Software, and I've been developing for Apple's platforms for around 17 years now, probably getting close to 18 at this point. And when I'm not doing all that contract work, I'm working on my own apps. For example, the one we're working on today is Coppice, which is an app to let you keep track of all your thoughts and notes and link them all together and visually lay them out. So what we're going to be doing today is some fun stuff around Apple's machine learning APIs. We actually got a bit of that done over the weekend, and we're going to actually convert that into a useful feature. So as we get started, let me know how you are in chat. As always, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, or software development, or the app business, or anything in general, feel free to post them in chat and I'll answer them as they come in. And just let me know how you are today, what you're working on, and what your day is like. So let's switch over and have a look at what we worked on. So what we actually got working yesterday is doing text detection on images. If I just build the app, we'll have a look about what that currently looks like and why we need text detection in Coppice. Has Coppice gone? Yeah. Sample document. And then open our sample document. Here we go. We've got Coppice here. So the reason we have this is that I have added image linking, which is where you can go in and draw a hotspot of something. This currently doesn't work because it's hooked up to all of the automatic linking. It's sort of temporarily working. We've got it so you can basically drag these hotspots over and connect them up. And what you could do is select these, and I can, for example, link this to text pages. Then if I go and view this, so those ones aren't working. Let's just quickly disable all of this, and I will show you how linking actually works. Alright, so those links are in there. So if I go and I just drag a link, okay, so that hotspot now works, and what I can do is I can select that and link that to text pages. And now if I go back to view and I click on it, it links us to the text page. And this is great if you're on a canvas and what was it, new page button. Drag that onto the canvas and click text page. Oh, interesting. That's a bug. Still not fully working. Either way, you can see what happens. So we'll work this out. It was working pretty fine before, but then I've started throwing in all of this additional stuff and it's decided to break. So what happens is if you click a link, it will open on here. Now, for pro users, like those who actually pay for the pro version of Coppice, in text pages, you get what is called auto linking. And this is as you type, it will see, are there any things in what you're typing that matches a page title? So if I type text pages, you see it's just created a link to text pages, and voila, we've got a link to text pages there. And as I'm adding linking from image pages, I'm also wanting to do the same thing, where we basically look for all the text in an image, and if it matches up with the name of a page, it will actually create a link. Now, at the moment, this is just finding all the text that it can and just adding hotspots for it. So we were just getting it where we could test, and some of these are a bit wrong. For example, this one here, but that's fine because it then has to match up to a text page to actually work. So if we re-enable this, down here we had our to-do list. So in this to-do list, we've built all of our stuff that basically regenerates our hotspots. So this works in basically two phases. The first one is that we scan an image. And the scanning of an image, we only really want that to work if the content was updated. So that will actually perform all the scanning, do all the machine learning stuff, and actually store these recognized texts here. In fact, let's make the code a bit bigger so it's a bit easier to see on stream. So you have all of Apple's APIs, which are actually really good. Like getting all this working was pretty simple. All we need to do is get our image, create a text request, tell it what language it is, and then it just does the work. It finds everything, and it is very accurate. We then process some results, and then we get down here to regenerating hotspots. And all this really does is check some confidence, because when we get this data back, it says, this is the text I think, and it gives us them ordered in what it is the most likely. But then obviously one of them is like there'll be different confidence levels. The longer the string, the lower the confidence may be. So what we have here is some stuff to check confidence, because it can be very confident of finding a single letter when the single letter does not exist, but it can also be kind of unsure at perfectly finding a long string. Like it seems to be incredibly accurate, so it just has no confidence in itself. So it's not just humans that get imposter syndrome. Apple's machine learning APIs have them too. So we created a to-do list at the end of the last stream. So this confidence code here, we're going to move this up, because this is basically filtering out any of these recognized text objects that we don't care about. And really, we can shove that up here when we're processing the results, because if they're not relevant here, they're not going to suddenly become relevant down here. Now, the reason we've split this up is regenerating the hotspots needs to happen over and over and over. Every time you are renaming a page, creating a page, anything like that, it needs to actually check through all the recognized text and see, oh, are these actually hotspots? Do I need to add a hotspot? Do I need to remove a hotspot? So that's why this stage happens a lot more frequently. The other reason for filtering this out is we're going to keep these on here so that we can actually search. So we are going to end up searching through all of our code. Where are we? Now you're going to be able to search through your pages, and it will actually load everything in, looking through the text, and actually show pages, image pages based on text inside of them. So we need to store those, and for that we want to throw away any ones we don't really want. Then we want to basically do stuff where we're only creating page titles, if hotspots if they exist, and various other bits. There's various other bits that we need to do to get this working. And once we get this working, we then get to move on to image searching. Now I'm hoping image searching will be quite simple, because all the search stuff is there. All we need to do is get it to check the recognized text. So that should be okay. The big issue there is actually highlighting the actual recognized text. So let's get onto this, because what I would like to do in terms of what we have left to do in Coppice, in terms of features, it's just auto linking and image searching, and then we're going to get onto a few bug fixes and then some testing to try and fix more bugs. So hopefully I would like to, by the end of Monday's stream, have Coppice be feature complete and be able to go into test mode, and then we'll start being able to look at how do you actually ship an app. How do you go through the process of testing it? How do you go through the process of updating documentation and various things like that? So we're going to start looking into all those sorts of things, which should be a lot of fun. So what we can probably do is, let's move this to do into here. Alright. Confidence or to default. Move confidence code. Interesting. Why is that cutting off our bottom thing? Edit transform bottom. There we go. So... So, let's start going through these. Now clear this out. Region hots. So we want to move all of this confidence code up to there. Now let's stick it all in the compact map. Yeah. Let's eat that. Nail. So we're basically getting rid of all punctuation and white spaces. We just want our string without punctuation and white spaces to make sure that, yes, it does have confidence that it has found something, because it can see dots all over the place and think they're punctuation. So we don't really care about that. We care more about text. If it contains punctuation, we'll keep the punctuation in, but we don't actually really care about it too much. By the way, apologies if I keep going quiet briefly, or I sound a bit bunged up. It's the quintessential thing of having a deadline matching yesterday and then coming down with a cold. So, at least I'm pretty sure it's a cold. I'm hoping it's not COVID. I've had people around me with COVID and seem to have somehow avoided it. And I keep testing negative, but it's like, oh, I skipped that and apparently seem to have got a cold. Well, thankfully it's not too bad. It's just exacerbated by allergies. Part of which was actually a rather fun and interesting project that caused that, which was disassembling a rather old Mac Mini. One of the first unibody versions, for an interesting project. I might go into it a bit more this afternoon and share some of the photos I took. But it's I have some ideas for how to utilize it, because it's not very useful as a computer these days, because it's that old. I mean, this iMac I'm on now has literally 10 times the RAM. And I think the RAM's double the speed. And that's just the RAM, so... But I have plans that will... Well, it's not useful for anything much as a computer. I have plans to keep it out of the landfill and recycle the various bits of it. So... These hotspot generation. Got all our stuff there. Let's build them on. Build failed. Why? Cannot find. That. Hey Sinister, welcome to the stream. I was going to ping you on the Dog Swift stream, but I was busy getting this set up. How are you doing today? No, I don't usually stream early on a Thursday. I usually don't stream on the Thursday at all. So normally I'm contracting either Tuesday to Thursday or Tuesday to Friday. But this week I had a deadline. And so they asked whether I could move the Thursday stream to Monday. Rather, move my Thursday day to Monday so that I could front load the week. So I've been shifting stuff around. So this is why I missed streaming on Monday. It's why I didn't stream yesterday, because I'd been rushing to get stuff done and I was tired out. So I now have Thursday free, which is rather nice because I've got the full day. So I'm going to be streaming this morning for a few hours, then go have some lunch, and then stream this afternoon and hopefully get a lot done. So that should be quite a lot of fun because I'm very close to getting this version finished. In fact, you probably haven't seen this. So let me show you a bit of coolness. Let's screenshot what you just said. And then let's drag into here. I have added a feature that the feature doesn't work exactly how I expect it to at the moment. It does way too much. I need to narrow it down, but oh, look at that. It has found all of the text in here. And actually, what we can probably do, we're going to regenerate hotspots. Text. Let's print out recognize text dot string, and confidence. We build and run. So this is going to be for the auto linking feature. So this is the whole thing where, for example, I type text pages and it auto detects there. Doing the same thing for images where it's going to detect text in them. At the moment it's just highlighting all text, but what we want it to do is actually just detect it, and then we'll check, do we need to add a hotspot, remove a hotspot, or whatever. It also means it's there so that when you do a search, so you could search for a text page, and well, text pages appears, pages, create a link, welcome to Coppice, but new page button doesn't appear. So this should appear when we get that working. So that's fun, but here we can see, what do we have? It finds 187 since something hey. And Shay, well, that's okay. We've got a few images there. It's done pretty well. And then says there's something not bad. Do you usually stream early on a Thursday? Says there's something. Oh, nice. So all of your actual text, it's found perfectly. And this is what I've been pretty pleased about, is that even here it's like it's about 50% confident, but it's good enough that I'm getting the stuff that I can actually get this auto linking. So in theory, if I created a page called Sinister something in here, it would then just create links just around your name on there. So this is really cool, and it's actually not a lot of code. I mean, if I show you the code for it, this is the code for scanning the image, and all we're doing is we're getting the image in the format that we need. You create an image request handler and you pass the image and the orientation. At the moment this is just up, but we're going to get this so that when you rotate an image and it needs to scan it, if it's rotated like 90 degrees, it can still scan the text. If you give it the orientation, it will still find it in any orientation. And then you just create a detection request, and these requests can be anything. There's like face detection, detecting rectangles. I mean, what VN request VN recognize object, recognize point, recognize animals. So it can do like animal detection, and all you basically do is create it, give it a completion, and then do any sort of configuration you need, which here is languages, because the other cool thing is if you're running macOS 11 or higher, then it actually supports a lot of languages. It supports English, Chinese, Portuguese, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. So even though the app isn't localized into those, it will be able to do the detection on them. And then I just perform the request, and when I get it back, just check what we have, check confidence levels, make sure it's something that we want to keep. Like, for something as complex as optical character recognition, this is why I love using Apple's APIs at times. Some of their APIs are just magic like this, where it's just a few lines of code, and you've got face detection, you've got full text detection, and this gives me not only the text, it gives me the where it is, like the rectangle where it is, which is vital if I'm wanting to stick a hotspot on. So this is a lot of fun, and at the moment all we're doing is basically, for all of this text, is just adding our bounding boxes. So we've just done our first bit, which is moving our code to check confidence, because it's, if we've got a small string of if we've got high confidence, then we'll accept a small string. If we've got decent confidence, we'll accept a longer string. Otherwise, we'll completely ignore it. Well, I mean, this is the thing with Apple, is a lot of this stuff, a lot of why you've had so many indie apps on the Mac and now on iOS, is Apple's APIs make a lot of this stuff a lot simpler. Sometimes they make things more complicated than they need to be, but a lot of stuff they do make a lot simpler. They handle a huge amount of stuff for you so that you can focus on the stuff that you need to. So, and it wouldn't surprise me if this is the same machine learning algorithm that backs the live text feature. Because, for example, like live text, if I do this again and just copy, if I open preview and create a new thing there, I can select text. So I could select this text, copy, paste. Oh, actually, we could actually fully test this. I copy that, paste it in. Okay, it seems to be a bit better, but you can see that it's similar to the live text stuff. So, I mean, I found this incredibly useful, the whole live text thing. But yeah, this is just a really nice little API. I was surprised at just how simple it was. I think they also have machine learning stuff that does it still in the Vision framework. No, face and face landmark detection, text detection, barcode recognition, image registration, general feature tracking. I seem to remember when I was looking through them on Sunday, there's also one that does like audio processing, where you can give it audio and it will go through and generate transcripts and do speech to text for you. So all these things, this just allows me to stick all this in on Sunday, and then today I'm able to build all sorts of cool stuff. Today, building out all of my image linking features. So, what I want to do now is regenerate hotspots. Alright, so how have we done this? Right, so text storage, model controller. So what are you working on today, Sinister? Have you doing some more Blender stuff, or have you got other work to work on? So in terms of this version being almost done, this is my to-do list for this version. So auto-linking images is what we're working on now. Image searching, actually getting it searching should, I mean, if we get auto-linking images done today, image searching should be fairly easy. That is literally just get the searching code to look through. Right. Let's just... Alright, first let's commit this. Coppice 343. Add text detection to pages. Where is hold on. If I pull this out of right, now the results. If I actually set Okay. Matching pages, search term. Matches for search term. Okay. First range of. So if I go to each page content. Click this in. What we're going to do is self dot image if that's what contains where $0 dot string dot contain search term and session 0 search term. And then we'll just return change session as not found. So this won't be perfect, and we'll stick it to doing. And better conclusion, because I implemented this in terms of text, but the thing is, it's not going to be quite that way. I'm gonna have to return some other stuff. But if I build and run this, does this work? Search term dot count. So before, text page did not show up when we search, but if I do text page, still does not show up. Is this actually being called? It is. Also have dot. Oh, because it's of search term option. Case insensitive, diacritic insensitive, dot log as a string. String. Oh, actually. String. Dot location. Go to ns. Not found. Try that. shows up. Now, unfortunately, we don't get the thing where it actually flashes and highlights it, and it isn't showing the actual stuff there, but our page shows up. I mean, in theory, I should be able to type that not showing up. Oh, it shows up. Oh, because it's not properly saving it yet. If I go to here and now and type Sinister, it finds it. So we need to actually have it save the data, but yeah. So the basics of searching work. We just need to be able to change the actual search system so it doesn't assume that it is just something in the range of text. It's going to be something that could be somewhere else. So that's a little bit of failed foresight, but we'll commit that for now. 344 basic implementation of image searching. But I mean, this is the key thing of why it's great when you're using a platform that has all of these APIs. Is the hard bit, the actual detecting text, is done, which means I can focus on things such as searching and auto-linking, because the feature in Coppice is not text detection. The feature is auto-linking on images and searching. So that is what we want to actually have happen, and that's what I should be focusing on, not building a full machine learning model to detect text. Right, let's get back to our image page link manager. So what I was wanting to do, so I've got this text page link manager, which does a similar thing. So we update page, we get our pages, ignoring ourselves. I'm going to append any pages to the ignored that don't allow auto-linking. And then I'm going to call the text link find. So that basically reparses the text. We don't need that because we have this up here that actually parses the image. So this works a bit differently because we also need it for searching. So probably want something similar in terms of find link changes. Because this is going to determine whether or not we add hotspots. So private find link changes using pages. Could create a subclass. That does that for testing. So what I'm probably going to do, text link finder there. I'm going to create an image link finder that does the same thing. The reason for sticking this in a separate class in a separate file is it will make unit testing. So our text link finder is basically Coco, Coppice core class image link finder. File link changes. For vision as text. Construct changes. Oh. Handling changes in hotspots. Need our existing hotspots. Hotspot is equatable. Yes. So let link changes. Links to remove. Remove type link. Let links to add. Remove type link. And construct link. You're going to have the hotspot. Actually, do we need anything more than the hotspot? Because the hotspot contains the URL, contains the location, contains the type. So we can change this to find hotspot changes. Still want to return that, but we can rename this to hotspot changes. And these are just image hotspots. So I don't know what happened when I first started the stream, but I must have got like a swarm of bots coming in, because you frequently get bots who come in and just observe the stream to make sure that you are in their followers. And I started the stream with like 16 viewers, and then suddenly it dropped down to like 2. And it was 16 viewers with nobody chatting. So there may have been a few people in there, but sadly they seem to all vanish. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, but I mean, it would have temporarily boosted me up, so it's one of those things where coding streams can be a bit hard to get people to watch, because there may not be a lot going on visually. it's that thing where you ideally need the critical mass of people in to be chatting to make it an interesting stream, while but to get to that critical mass is kind of the problem. It's always that thing of once you get to a certain point, things can start snowballing with any sort of thing that you do. But you need to get to that critical mass first before it starts snowballing. But I mean, I'm trying streaming different times. I mean, the Wednesday streams in the evening seem to work well, so... No, I've never had a Die Swift raid, because I'm usually not streaming when they finish. I mean, this is the first time that I've sort of ducked out of a Die Swift stream. So, to actually start streaming. So, I'm usually streaming in the afternoon. I mean, Pal has raided me. He raided me the other week. Had a few other people who like searched me out. So, but yeah, I get occasional raids. It's not like, well, again, it's sort of a critical mass thing where once you reach critical mass, you've got enough streamers watching you that you're going to get raids. So it's the whole thing of sort of compounding things of needing to get that critical mass. And it's just one of those things of when you're starting out, it seems some streams, and I had one stream where I don't think I had anyone chatting. But then other streams, I genuinely get like a dozen or more people watching and talking in chat and so on. So it just all depends on time of day. I mean, this is a bit late for people in the US, but it's still early for people in Europe. Probably a decent-ish time for people in Asia. The afternoon is sort of morning in sort of like North and South America, whereas when I get to the evening, it's a bit more. It's just finding it good times, and it's having the flexibility to do different times and stream enough. And it's just if you stream enough and you're doing enough interesting stuff, then eventually you should hopefully get that break. So. It's definitely a lot easier if you're doing like game development because it's a lot more visual. I think what I need to do is sort of tweak things on the stream to make it maybe a bit more interactive and so on. It would be nice at some point in the future to make my little avatar a bit more animated rather than just blinking, but yeah, it's just to play around with in the future. Alright, so we're finding hotspot changes. So let's go up here. What we're going to do is let hotspot changes equals link finder. Find hotspot changes in. Well, that's a fair point. I think I was discussing making that all static because there are no variables on here. So let's do that for the image link finder then. We'll make this a static. So in page dot image content dot hotspots or image content dot recognize text using where are we? Want to get our pages. Oh, ignoring page equals current page. Ignoring dot append contents of pages dot filter dot auto linking false. Pages. Get the hotspot changes, and then what we're going to do is for hotspots equals image content dot hotspot. Actually, don't even need that. Update hotspots. Get that. If we're passing in the array of hotspots, why not just pass out the array of hotspots? Like, we know what, like, if we can work out what we want to add and what we want to remove, why not just do the add and the remove? And therefore, this just becomes image content dot hotspots equals the hotspots content dot hotspots. Comment that out. There we go. What we'll do for now is we'll just return hotspots. Right. Oh, that regenerates hotspots, that does all that there. So all we need to do now is all of our stuff in here. So, actually we're going to need to shift this, like do this mark hotspots as auto manual first. Won't actually save this. Actually, that should be... do that in the text link finder, but we... set it on the URL. Yeah, we want it on the link. So we don't need to change anything there. Now what we can do, auto hotspot. Cool, and what we'll do is guard-let URL equals self.url, else then false. Because if it doesn't have a URL, the user must have added it, because the only time that we're going to add it is if there's something to link to. And then what we want, that finds all our potential not existing. So we want to guard that the URL exists. We want to guard that the URL dot scheme is our URL scheme. Let page link URL, make sure it's a page link. And we'll just return link dot auto generated. Yeah, link dot auto generated. That's easy enough. Sometimes you forget that you've implemented stuff like this that makes stuff a lot easier. When you've been working on stuff for so long and you take breaks between working on bits of code, it's a lot to remember exactly what you've managed to work on. So, what I can do I can be lazy with this. Not hotspots, hotspots. Filter. Oh, is it a hotspot? False. Right, so we always want to return on manual hotspots. So all we really need to do is work out the auto hotspots. So for this, what we need to do is find candidates in recognized text. And then we want to remove hotspots. Don't have a candidate. Do have a candidate. And then add to manual hotspots. That should work reasonably well. So I'm just going to take a quick break just to refill my glass of water, and then when we get back, we'll work on that. Okay, I am back with a glass of water. I'm having to make extra sure that I stay hydrated today because I have a cold. So that's why my voice may sound a little bit different because I'm currently bunged up nose, so which obviously is ideal for when you want to get a lot of coding done, but I suspect I'll be having a lot of caffeine and a lot of fluids today. Right, I did realise something. Add hotspots do have a candidate. What we want to do here is don't include hotspots that would overlap a manual hotspot. Because if the user's added a hotspot, we don't want to actually add something in that same place. So, what we need a scratch pad for this. Let's have a read through and just double check how this works. Because there is a lot of logic there. So I find the existing, I find the auto-link candidates. So, know the default page, know what page there, candidates. So if let index equals autolink candidates, our pages, the first index where the autolink title equals current page.title. Okay, so that makes sense. Right, so I think what I'm going to do, shift that there. I'm going to create a root class called link finder. There's a lot of this logic we want to share between them. So for example, getting the autolink candidates. We want that to effectively be the same on both. So if I shove that there, that and be a text. It's going to get auto pages self.auto. Candidates from pages, page. So, find auto link A. I want to pull out this. Because, for example, that we need, but autolink candidates attributed string. Doesn't actually need attributed string because we get the string there, get the range, that's on the string. Because where this is working on one string, we want it to work on multiple strings. So accepted, rejected, manual. Oh, no. Alright, so let's got our things here. So what we need to do is go through each text to find candidates in text. So enumerate, we can do for recognize text in recognize. So for recognize text and recognize texts, want to find ranges or string. Oh, find pencil matches in string. Then want to filter. We find longest match. Believe that is what we do here. And we don't care about manual at this point. We only care about auto because the manual is going to work differently. So that could be our link info. This could be our link scratchpad. So we may be able to reuse those because there's been various bugs fixed in those, so it would be good to use that code. And then we enumerate unrejected. We get to this point, multiple links, none of which have been accepted. This means they all start at the same location. So I mean, the logic for this, there's an awful lot in here. So if we just launch Coppice again. So just to explain some of the complexities here. Let's say you had a page called Coppice Document and a page called Coppice Document Can, and a page called Fleshed Out Coppice, let's say. So in this case, you've got something there, something there, and something there. Now, in theory, what it should do is pick the earliest one. It should click Fleshed Out Coppice. But let's say we disable auto linking on that, so that's used. Then you get Coppice Document and Coppice Document Can. In which case, we've got two potential things, and it needs to work out which one do we want to do. In which case, it should go for the longest one, Coppice Document Can. In fact, we can actually test that. I add a bunch of new text pages. Let's just add these in. Let's rename our first one to Coppice Document. We see that has updated there. If I change it to Coppice Document Can, it's now updated there. But if I change to Fleshed Out, if I just leave it fleshed out, it's a separate link. But if I change that to Fleshed Out Coppice, we see that it's just doing Fleshed Out Coppice and it's got rid of the document Can. But then if I select this and disable allows auto linking, it switches back. So there's been a lot of thought put into this. Because a lot of the text link finder is designed to work on an attributed string, because this is a string where it can find, oh, it's got the links in. But a lot of this is just plain string stuff. And for a lot of auto linking, it is just going to be plain string stuff. So if I can abstract a lot of that, whereas this is like, the text one is you've got an attributed string and we want to look through it all, just through one thing to find all the text links. On the image, you're going to have lots of smaller strings that we just want to look through with all the same text stuff, but how we actually apply those is going to be different. So that's where I think we can reuse this. We could probably reuse the validate auto links from Scratchpad as well. Colds are the worst. Well, actually no, colds are not the worst. There are far worse things than colds, but colds are annoying. It's the price you pay for having nieces who are in nursery and family members who look after them and then come visit you. Right, so you validate validate our autolinks, which happens here. Don't need to validate. Do we need to validate mine? No, we don't need to. Because this validation is just basically of the autolinks find them. So once we've validated the autolinks, we then want to validate the overlapping with manual hotspots. And then we want to add our hotspot. Now what's interesting is this goes through, and the reason we have a lot of complex stuff here is we find all of our hotspots, but then we need to find which ones we want to remove that are existing, because we then need to go and edit the text. And that's all, it's a lot more complex with the text because the text editor may be open and we need to have it update the actual editor the user's using or something else. Or edit the data if then they've not got it up. However, here we don't need to be as clever about removing. We can do the same thing that this does here, which is finding all the auto links we want to have, but rather than finding the ones we want to remove, we're just returning a new array. So we don't need to do any removing things. We're just, in fact, we probably don't even need the existing auto hotspots because we don't care about those. We're going to throw away the existing ones and add brand new ones, which should sync up. They should effectively be the same, but it means that any ones that have been removed just simply go away. So that should make this a lot simpler and easier. Okay, so let's start making some of these things. Not private. I'm going to go up to link finder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to have extension link finder. I'm going to make that nested. We want to do the same with Scratchpad. Because we're going to want those. Validate auto links. We want to be here. Don't care about manual external links here. Creates. Create a Scratchpad from. Ah. That is an array of link infos with existing links and our auto links. Oh, create a Scratchpad. Right, so the Scratchpad, we're basically iterating through the text, and the Scratchpad is, oh, we have a bunch of links. Yeah, so the Scratchpad is for testing our overlapping. So, want that. Copy the whole thing out. No. Change that from being static. Want to pull. Oh. This can remain static, but that wants to be an NS string. Actually, I wonder. Match it. Project. Oh. No, it does require an NS. Right. Right. Put all that up there. So. Convert all these to static. Probably going to have to update some int tests, but that should be easy. enough to do. So let's build and run and see exactly what has broken. Orange page. Oh. Pages. Alright. Let's see. Off that. That. What's like kind of... Oh. Orange pages. Actually, where do we have? Storing. Right. Got one last one. Right. Why are you so complaining? It has no... Page... No. Page... Do? Oh, the dates. Cannot type. I should be able to do self, because we're in static function. Oh, string. Let's just make this string. We're just going to do that, and this is just going to be string as string. That should make that all a bit simpler. Uh, that, oh. How about that? Self-stop there. Get rid of all these warnings. That's in our image size because we're going to need that for actually normalizing our bounding box, because the bounding boxes on these are all percentages as opposed to actual points within the image. So we have all that stuff there. So let's open Image Link Finder in there and Text Link Finder over here. Right, so there's no way getting around the fact that we need to enumerate through pages by recognized text. So it's going to be like autolink page count times recognized text count. But I think if we go through pages first, because the recognized text should be smaller. I'm hoping. And it shouldn't make too much of a difference performance-wise. If it does, we can start looking at other things, but it hasn't made much of a difference elsewhere. Actually, no. We need to go through recognized text by page, because the recognized text could have multiple pages. So we need to do for paging auto link pages. We need to have. Right, let's. Candidate hotspots for recognized text. For auto for pages. Link pages. Text. Image set. So, for paging auto link pages, we want our auto links. So, the auto links that append contents of after auto links for page and recognize text as string. Sort them. For index equals 0. No index is less than dot sorted links that count. We want to get our scratch pad. Index. Validate auto links scratch pad. Put in scratch pad links. If info.state equals accepted, print page. We're going to do info dot page dot title. Info dot range. Because if it's accepted, we need the range because we're then going to ask the recognized text for range there. So let hotspots equal. Here we're just going to return an empty array at the moment. Equals self.candidate hotspots in autolink pages. Recognize text, image size. So we do that. Then we're going to validate against manual hotspots. And if we're good, we're going to add our hotspots. So we build and run. Hopefully this compiles. Right. So let's drag an image on. Let's rename this to not bad. Hey, found it. Change this to well, let's say you usually stream. Okay, so it's not finding ones, but it should find all nice. Oh. Interesting. Yeah. Excellent. So we've got usually stream, we've got not bad. I want all nice. Ah. Missing that. Bad. Yeah, it's not in there. Oh, because it is ignored, isn't it? That off. But it's still only finding not bad. Okay. Shift this over here. Yeah, that's all nice. So, our autolink pages map title. All nice, not bad. You use your stream. They're all in there. Yo. Recognize text string. So we shouldn't be matching against that. And we don't. Should be matching not bad here. Oh. So you usually stream. That's going across multiple lines. So there's not much we can do there. Because we get those back as separate things. We could potentially make things better, but the problem is that you can't really have non-contiguous stuff. So that stuff has to be done manually. We could try and make it better in future, but for the initial release, I'm not going to go quite that bad. So that's why you usually stream is not there, but the all nice should appear. Okay. Let's go in. Candidate hotspots for pages. Go to there and have a look at our autolink. First up page. Title. Okay. Create our scratch pad. Link. Date. No, so we're going to validate. Kind of no, and there. Go to age. You. It's accepted. Accepted. Go dot page dot title. Don't know. Okay. There we go. Right, and if we name this to early on, we get that one as well. To stream early, we get that rather than early on. If we get early on a Thursday, that, but hit stream early and turn that off. We get early on a Thursday. Okay. So we're detecting all of our stuff. So all we need to do now is in here, get the bounding range and create our hotspots. Make sure they're not overlapping with any manual hotspots, and then add them. So as I've been streaming for about 2 hours now, I'm going to take a break because I need to get some lunch and see if I can unblock this nose. And then I will be back in about an hour, 90 minutes or so around 1:30, 2 o'clock UK time, to continue this. And we should hopefully be able to get this implemented today, which is pretty good, and then we can move on to our searching. So we've only create link if it creates title, only use range of page, mark hotspots as automatic. Well, we need to do that one, but the rest of it is looking pretty good. So I will see you all in a hour or so when I will start the stream up again. So thank you for watching this morning, and see you in a bit.